Hey Spice people, it's a girl, so Spice Sector. So today on Sex Matters. So in our last video, we talked about BDSM, and I was able to take you through the kind of things you might need if you really want to get down into BDSM. But today, I'm going to be talking about all you need to know as a beginner when it comes to BDSM. Yes, you really need to know all this so that you do not go out of context or do the wrong things. Now, you need to understand that BDSM itself is just a specific kind of kinky play, right? It is being said that consent and safety is the foundation of BDSM. Contrary to what a lot of people think that, oh, you need pain. No, pain doesn't really have anything to do with BDSM except the fact that pain has to be agreed upon by both partners. It might interest you to know that BDSM has to do with, fetish, power dynamic, stimulation, impact play, and a whole lot of things. But hey, you need to be sure what you really want to do when you talk about BDSM. And at what point do you think you really come in? That has a lot to do with communication and, the partner you're going to be dealing with. This might interest you to know that BDSM is not about inflicting pain or making someone cry or, beating them to change their skin color or making them bleed. Even though there is a part of BDSM that does that, but it's not what today we're talking about. Today we're talking more about all you need to know as a BDSM beginner so you do not go beyond board or do the wrong things. So I really want you to also understand that BDSM is expected to help you understand your sensitivity, to help you know and feel every part of your body. It's there to help you shut down certain senses to ignite other certain senses. Yes, a lot of people think BDSM is about the spanking and the beating and the flogging. No, BDSM is there to help bring out the sex goddess, to give you the power, the strength, to help you unleash the sex goddess and bring out that which you never thought you could. So BDSM has a lot to do about role playing. Now, what do we really mean by about role playing? Role playing is bringing out that part of you that you never knew did exist. Yes, with role playing, you get to explore, you get to pretend, you get to act out that life aside the real you. A lot of times when we talk about BDSM, we think, oh, it's about the flogging and spanking and no. BDSM is more sensual. Feeling, touching. That is what BDSM really means. It's not always about, yes, we have the part where you get to hit or spank, but you see, like I said, in all of this, there's always technique to everything about BDSM. Now, there are two types of people you might want to know before you dive into BDSM, and this is the dom and the sub. Now, the dom or dom, as some people call it, is called the dominant person, the person who's got the power, the person who enjoys being in power, the person who is in charge is who we call the dominant person. And the sub is that person who loves to be controlled, who loves to be told what to do, how to do, and when to do what to do. These people let go of their free will to give themselves up for the real pleasure of sex. Now, you might also need to understand that the dom is that person that makes the rules, and the sub has no choice but to follow the rules of the dom, whether you like it or not. And this does not really include pain in any way or any form without the consent of the submissive. Except, of course, it is part of what both of you have decided to do. In other words, communication is very key and very important when you try out BDSM. Now, there's also another set of people you might want to know, which we sometimes call the tops and the bottom. Now, there's a difference between the tops and the bottom and the dom with the submissive. Now, with the tops and bottom, the bottom is that person who gets to, express and also take as much as the submissive. The difference is that the bottom gets to tell the top what they really want, that thing, that fantasy they want in there, and the top helps them bring to life by commanding them and telling them what to do, how to do, when to do, and in which way to do it. At the end of the day, both get to enjoy and feel the pleasure of being in charge or of being on the receiving end, at the same time helping you become another person totally different from who you really are. As a beginner, you might also want to know what the word rack means. Now, for you to be a kinky person into the BDSM world, you should know what rack means. And what does it mean? It means risk. Yes. R for risk. A for awareness. C for concept. And K for kink. R for risk. A for awareness. C for consent. And K for risk. Now, these 4 words helps you understand that, you know what, you have to take loads of risk, right? Because of course, giving up yourself to another person, even though you love them and you're being tired, giving up yourself is a lot of risk, right? Because anything can happen, right? Awareness, you have to be aware of what you're doing, how you want to do it, and when to say no. Because in BDSM, you must have what we call safe word. Now, safe word is when you know that maybe, you might want a particular kind of, feeling or a particular kind of way to be tied or to be choked, and you must have what we call safe word. In other words, when you know that you can't take it no more, there are certain words that you do not go outside this word. You have to stay in the word and you have to speak only the word, because if you say something outside the word, it's assumed that you're not saying anything at the end of the day. Now, C, which stands for the consent, means that you have to be consensual, you have to agree, you have to talk, you have to discuss, you have to communicate before you start any act of BDSM, either being pulled or tied or blindfolded or being choked. Whatever it is you have to do, you just have to consent to it. Now, the last thing, which is the kink, it means that you have to be kinky, you have to be creative, you have to be ready to, go beyond boards, you have to be ready to bring out the new you. You don't go into BDSM with the same you. You don't go into the BDSM with, this is what I can do, this is how I'm going to do it. No, you might just stick to your bedroom. But when you talk about kinky, or being kinky, or wanting to be a kink, you have to be ready to be creative and bring out the sex goddess or bring out the new you that you never thought real did exist. Now, another thing you need to understand about BDSM is more of a sensual thing. For beginners, it's more of you shutting down the sight, right? The sense of sight for you to feel the sense of touch, or you shut down the sense of touch for you to feel the sense of sight, or you shut down the sense of sight and touch for you to feel the sense of smell. Sensation is one keyword in BDSM. Pain, it's not really part of it, except you want it. And when we say pain, it doesn't really have to be painful. It could be you exploring and exercising your strength, your power, and your weakness. Now, with all that I've talked about, I hope you get to learn more about BDSM. And note, before you decide or you try to go into BDSM, please take note of all I have said. Talk about it, communicate, and make sure you get the consent of the other person before you go down this lane. On this level, I say, do have a fantastic day. To light come your way. Again, next time I remain the one and only, so spicy sex. See ya.